Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the 1 Point Safety Show with myself, Scott Hartley, and as you can see, my glorious co-host, normally Scouse, is not very well today, so apologies for rescheduling it slightly, but we're here and we've brought in backup in the form of the Bleeding Burgundy podcast with Jesse Martin and John Tayman. How are you, Jesse? You all right, buddy?
Yeah, man. Listen, I can come off the bench anytime you guys need. No problem.
Absolutely agree. Thank you for helping me out of and doing me a solid. And also we have the wonderful world's worst podcast host. It's John Tayman. How are you, John? You all right?
I'll be fantastic. Once the check clears, I'm always good. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, well, that's it. You know, PayPal and all that. Yeah, we've got to get it through. You use Venmo, don't you, normally? So
I'm gonna put this on just for Scouts. Because he
loves it. He loves it. He loves it. I'm sure he's watching as well. Get well soon, Scouts, as well. Really, get better. As always, I'll start with our sponsors. We are Dunstable Town FC's Talk of the Town podcast sponsor. If you're into non-league football, go ahead. Go and give them a subscribe and a follow on YouTube. Burrows is doing a lot with the media team and they're having a good season so far. So I'm sure he is out tonight at the training centre watching them train and helping out where he can. So good luck to them this season. We wish the boys well, and new season has just started in soccer, so wish them well. Oddballs, you can also go across to myoddballs.com if you want a picture of Scouse on your underpants, or you want our logo on a scarf or a hat. Go ahead and have a look at that. It's myoddballs.com. We're also sponsored by Fusion Therapeutics, which is northwich-physio.co.uk. They provide expert MSK assessments and treatment with a focus on holistic care dedicated to improving your well-being through tailored musculoskeletal health plans. The team offer specialist injection therapy and non-medical independent prescribing. So if you're in the Northwest, Manchester or Cheshire area, give the team a call on 01606 512 013, or you can book online and they'll be happy to advise you further on this affordable treatment solution. Also, final one, every time we're going to mention this, bleedingburgundy.com. Go across to bleedingburgundy.com. A lot of writing. If you want to read about the Commanders news, get some inside views. People like Deuce, Jesse, John Tayman. I've wrote one article. I'm useless, I'll be honest with you. I need to get more out there. So
you're the only one that had any inside views, though. You were the
go across the bleed. No, Jesse's training camp had some good views, John. Come on, don't do him dirty like that. Go over and give that a follow, a subscribe. All the shows for Bleeding Burgundy podcast on there. All of our friends, this show, other shows. Go across and have a look at it. There's some very, very good writing on there. So, and if you want to be a contributor, let us know, and we can obviously help. You can help as well if you want to. Thank you, James, for being with us. Thank you, Scott G, for being with us. We appreciate it. And that is our sponsors done. Apologies for that. The audience is like that. What are you talking about for the last 5 minutes? Roster moves, gentlemen. We've got a few roster moves this week. First one that came out today, we signed a veteran centre, Nick Harris. Harris was a fifth-round pick by the Browns in 2020. He's played 45 games with 6 starts. All of Harris's NFL experience has come with the Browns, although he briefly signed with the Seahawks last season after being traded back to the Browns for a 7th-round pick. He was active from week 2 to 6 in 2024, and he started in the Browns game against the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Philadelphia Eagles. So we've got a starting centre in, and the reason behind this is we released offensive lineman Julian Good-Jones, who's obviously a versatile lineman, played guard and centre, had a poor game against the Bengals, was injured in that game against the Bengals, and he will revert to our IR if he clears waivers. He's been playing guard and centre, had a bad snap for Josh Johnson in that Bengals game, but that has been happening apparently throughout training camp. So he was probably our 3rd centre, and he was on our practice squad last year. So that's obviously the corresponding move for that. What do we think about Nick Harris? Any good? Do we know who he is? Do you think it's a good move, Jesse?
I mean, he's had 6 starts. He's played in like 45 games. I mean, I think it's just probably a body. For now.
Yeah, but I mean, if he's better than Dieter, then that for me is okay, because we need a backup centre. Outside of Biadic,
I mean,
we kind of
Dieter's had a lot of starting experience. So I think
he's here so we don't have to play Biadic at all tomorrow. Or
yeah. I think it's probably putting in.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Him or Dieter are finding themselves out of a job come Tuesday.
Yeah, so
because if if Good Jones didn't get injured, he'd still be on the team.
Yeah, I understand that. I do understand that. James says here, John, does that mean John will now speak in a Scouse accent in Scouse's absence?
Tell you what, I will give you the full Scouse experience.
He's shite. I wasn't too bad, actually, John, to be fair. I like your hat, says my wife. So there you go, John. She likes your hat. There you go.
Thank you.
It does suit you. It does suit you.
Nice to see you,
the other move that we've got that's came through was we signed offensive tackle George Fant. The other day, Fant was an undrafted free agent from Western Kentucky. Had 101 games with 75 starts. Played for Seattle in 2024. Previously had stints with the Texans and the Giants. Now, I do remember this, and obviously I got a bit of a ribbing because I said tight end / offensive lineman. Now, yeah, he played tight end in college, but he was 60. They had 64 eligible plays for him in his first season at Seattle, and he was running routes, man. He got 46 yards in the season and 4 catches. So, I mean, come on, he's a big man. And he's playing tight end and offensive lineman. This guy's gone left tackle. He started for 2 years at left tackle with the Jets. He's played right tackle. He started for 2 years at right tackle. So I think it's a good move, man. I think it's a good depth piece to have on the team. What says you, John?
A good swing tackle. I mean, if he's got experience on both sides, he's got 75 starts under his belt. He came off a bad injury last year. But, I like that we managed to collect these guys towards the beginning of the season, and they become contributors. It remains to be seen if he's going to be able to land a job, but I think he's probably going to get in there over some other people. A guy like him, I don't know that you bring him in just to start the last preseason game so you don't risk anybody, like I just said about the center. I think he's got a shot to make the football team.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, whether he ever catches a pass or not, Scott, I know you're going to, if it ever happens.
Trent Scott.
I know it. Scott will be so happy if he runs out for a route at all. He's going to yell at Scouse.
Be amazing. Tackle eligible first game. Go on, get him out there. Touchdown.
Why not? I mean, sure, why not?
Jesse, what's your thoughts on bringing him in?
Yeah, I don't think this is a camp body by any means. I think this is depth, and I think he's going to make the 53.
Mm-hmm. And it's a good move. Who is the injury that we had to the centre / guard who we brought in the summer who retired? I can't remember his name now for the life of me.
Jesus. From the Steelers, I forget his name.
Yeah, it was him from the Steelers. He was going to be the Steelers starter. Anyway, because
something like that.
That's it. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Herbig.
Nate Herbig. That's it. Thank you. Because he obviously retired, you now kind of think, well, there's an offensive lineman slot there, if you like. But yeah, we're up to full now. We're up to 91 men on the team because we have an international player. So that's interesting that we are back to 91. So no, good luck to him. I hope he makes the team. We've got to talk about it. Terry McLaurin's contract impasse. Now, Alid, who is at Wales Commander, he put us a question here. He said, if Terry does eventually sign a new deal, do you think that he'll go straight back into the same reliable playmaker we're used to? Or could all this contract drama knock his production down this season? Now, on this, Nikki Javala, or Jablabla, as you call her, John, from The Athletic, he said she shed further light on the situation and basically said that his agent was seeking the same money as DK Metcalf. He hasn't come off that at all. They're still talking about it. One person with knowledge of the contract negotiations said a veteran receiver asked for more than DK Metcalf, who signed a 4-year deal for Pittsburgh earlier in the year. If he's seeking more than $33 million on an average value, that would put him top 4 among the receivers. If he's wanting more than $60 million guaranteed, that could be something that we'd look at, is say, right, okay, you want 60 mil guaranteed, we'll give you the 60 mil guaranteed, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's what you're going to get paid on an annual per basis. I did hear also as well that today that people on 106 The Fan were talking, thank you Scott G for sending it through, we're talking about 27.5 mil is kind of where we want to be and where that's his market value. I mean, are we any further forward? Are we any more worried about this, Jesse? What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I'm just over it. to be honest with you. I think I don't think it's put a damper as far as the team wise goes, but it's definitely, you can feel it in the fan base that they're over Terry and his agent's antics, and they want this to be resolved. And he was at practice today. Obviously, didn't do anything on the field, but he was there. I think, I don't know if anything's going to get done. I think he's going to play out this year, and they're going to franchise tag him next year, let him walk after that, and I'm perfectly okay with that. I'm just tired of it. I think, and I think we'll touch on this a little bit more tomorrow, but I think Terry's legacy has been tarnished by this whole thing. I really do, and it's sad because he's been Terry for years for us, and this has really soured, my taste towards him. And I know a lot of fans are feeling the same way.
John, do you think it's agent driven, or do you think it's purely down to Terry?
Look, it doesn't make any difference at this point. Terry has final say, obviously, but his agent has got to be. If you're an agent and you are starting off at the stupid number that you just mentioned over DK Metcalf, if you're starting there and you don't move off of it, by now, as an agent, you are under responsibility to go to your client and say, look, man, you are going to seriously damage your career here because they hold the cards. They can make you stay. Your only recourse is to hold out, which sends the complete wrong message to anybody else in the league who might want to retain you next year. And you lose a year of eligibility, of which you'll go back into the pool at 31. It's the dumbest time of his career to try something like this. Whether it's him or his agent, it really doesn't make any difference at this point. If it's the agent, Terry needs to fire him immediately. If it's Terry, then the agent needs to step aside and say, hey, man, this guy is unreasonable and I can't do anything with it. But what we're at right now, yeah, I'm very nervous. I'm to the point where I'm wondering whether he's going to be in game shape. And I don't, think that people say, oh, we can ramp him up and all of this and get him running and get him speeded up. Fine. Okay, who's going to hit him? You're going to have to hit him because it's a totally different thing when you get out in the football game. And whether or not he's had a good career of experience, we're 3 weeks out, 3 weeks out. I don't think that's enough time to get ready. That smells like hamstring pull to me, twisted ankles that last for a long time. And we've seen this movie before. I think Jesse's right. It has tarnished his reputation in this town. I also will say people are mercurial. Score a couple touchdowns, all is forgiven. Beat the Cowboys, we're all happy and on top of it. But where we're standing right now, like you said, I'm over it, man. I'm just like, just get the damn job done or come out and say, I'm not going to get a deal done.
Yeah.
And get the fucking practice. Excuse my language.
It's got to be, John, you're absolutely right. It's one of the two. Either sign the deal or play out the fucking deal.
Right.
Because that's the only two. That's the only two options right now. Okay. But doing this like with coming out with your head up, looking all mopey and stuff. He looks like a whiny fucking crybaby right now. Like seriously. And I do not want to see until he is signed. I don't even want to see him on the Twitter feed. I don't. I'm so fucking over it.
I mean, I'm exactly with you both. And I found that the fan base now, and it is we know this is a small proportion. Social media is always a small proportion of what fans are actually out there. But if you read in the tea leaves and you're looking at what the social medias are saying, people are turning. Even Terry fans who've been Terry fans the whole way through this process are now saying, right, it's time. You need to get on with it. You need a deal done, or you need to just get on with actually doing your job. Because it's not as if, let's be fair, it's not as if he's poorly paid. He's on 65. He's had $65 million out of this organization already. I get it. You've got to get your money, and I understand it's a business. I get it. But as you said, Jesse, the moping around, I've been poorly treated, the this, the that, the next thing, it doesn't work. And everything is not in his favour. And people are not seeing the bigger picture. And I keep trying to tell them, and me and you, John, we were well on Terry's side. We wanted $30 million in here. We sat in a bloody, we sat in a courtroom and said on your show and said, hey, we're fighting for $30 million, which is what we thought at the time
was reasonable.
There.
Right.
Absolutely
it sounded
reasonable.
reasonable.
But now, when you look at how AP's played this, we all have to trust that we have a general manager who is doing the right thing for this team. Because the minute you overpay Terry, what happens to Lattimore? What happens to Debo? What happens to Laramie Tunsil, who has no guaranteed money next year? What happens to
or any other big free agent any other free agent that might come in? You know,
then you're back into Dan Snyder territory, aren't you?
Well, it's
a
balancing
Jesse?
act. When you're building a team, it's a balancing act between talent and salary cap, and you've got to know when to sign, how much you can afford at what time. Because you're right, you've got to put these pieces together rather than overpaying for one and having a big hole in another. We've got a window right here, and that's something else that Terry's agent should explain to him. Look, dude, you play this game for money or you play this game for wins, all right? You've already made a ton of money. Now is time to go get a legacy. This window is open. I mean, you could end up in Arizona with, the tiny little runt down here trying to throw you the ball.
You want to go to Indianapolis? I know that's your hometown.
Go play with Daniel Jones,
Go play with Daniel Jones. I mean, it's about what you might end up in, right?
That's it, and I get it, and I'm still sitting here thinking, have we accelerated too quickly because of JD5, and because we now have this window open? We know, you got a rookie quarterback on a rookie quarterback deal. Now's your time to win, which everybody knows is the case. But it's tough because you haven't had a roster built behind it. You know what I mean? That's going to support that. So what should have happened is in the off season, close season, his agent should have sat down with Peters and Terry, and they should have got in a room and said, "Hey, we know you want to be here. We will get you a deal. It won't be anything near what you want. I'm not asking for a hometown discount, but we know we've got to pay Jaden in a couple of years. So come on, let's knuckle down and let's try and get something thrashed out now." And we would have probably got it done for around 27, 28 million. The problem we did have is the overpay by the Seattle Seahawks, by the Steelers for Metcalf.
Yeah, way to go, Pittsburgh.
Another thing too, I feel another thing that has tarnished, Terry, for me, is he feels like he's trying to hold the team hostage a little bit. If it goes on, and this would be stupid because if you're losing almost $1 million a fucking week,
yeah, it's crazy.
That he'd miss games, but what if they go out and go 2-0? I mean, it's not like Terry hasn't disappeared in for long stretches in multiple games in a row before. We didn't use him week 1 last year. I think, what did he get? Two targets last year, maybe 1 catch.
Yeah, 2 or 3, and that was about it.
But you would think, like, if I was Terry, I'd been waiting my whole entire career for a fucking quarterback.
Right.
Finally, fucking got one, and now you're trying to fucking hold the team hostage. Fuck you, dude. Sorry.
Yeah, for way too much. It's not like he's just a little bit over going, okay, I know you guys are offering me 26, but I really think I'm worth 28. He's asking for stupid money, all right? And they haven't budged off of it. And that, to me, is not negotiating in good faith. And really, frankly, I'd fire his agent. In fact, I do. Buddy Baker, you're fired. You are fired. Now, whether or not that counts for anything, I don't know. But if he shows up for work tomorrow, I want him escorted from the building.
I mean, go back to Alan's question, do I think it knocks on his production this season? Jesse, I saw you tweeting about this earlier and replying to people. Terry's stats are not actually all that.
They're no different each year. They're no different. They are, in the top 15 to 20 of receivers. Okay, the only thing good he did last year that everybody thinks, he had a career year, was touchdowns. And guess 13. What? That wasn't fucking Terry McLaurin. That wasn't Terry McLaurin. That was fucking Jaden Daniels.
He has to catch the ball though. He does have to catch the ball.
He's still getting like 80. It's not like he's getting 100 fucking catches, man. Good receivers. Really, really good receivers. They have those like 3-4 games a year where they have 160, 170-yard game.
Yep.
He's been the same. I was talking with Mike from no, and that's fine. And And he's been paid for that consistency, and he will continue to get paid for that consistency. But let's not, go off the limb and say that you've had a 1,400-yard season before, because you haven't, buddy. You've been hovering around 1,000 yards each year, and that's great. We need that, but you ain't no upper echelon wide receiver, so you shouldn't be asking for upper echelon wide receiver money. Sorry.
You might end up in Minnesota, and then all of a sudden, Sam, whatever his name was, Howell is your quarterback again because, the other guy gets hurt, McCarthy gets hurt. So, watch out what you wish for.
Scott G's put a thing in the chat here, said, speaking of Indy, how stupid of a take did RG me make about the Colts tanking after picking Jones when AR is statistically the worst in multiple categories or bottom 5?
Whether the Colts are tanking or not doesn't make any difference. It really doesn't matter. Their team is crap regardless. They have one running back, and they have a rookie tight end that might be interesting. And other than that, that team is crap. And the only thing
I do like their
ahead
tight
of them in the sewer race is the Saints. It's just crap. So
do the Saints even know what the fuck they're doing?
Not yet. No. Look, the fact of the matter is Indy's tanking whether they like it or not.
I don't think they got a choice.
They're tanking whether they know it or not.
But you're right, Scott. You're right. RG3, that comment was stupid as shit. I mean, anybody could plainly see that Anthony Richardson is fucking not it, man. He's just not it. They made a mistake. And mistakes happen. Look, everybody fucks up draft picks,
Sure.
Can't be fucking perfect. It's a fucking, you're shooting at a dartboard, man.
Sure. James has put us in for a beautiful segue. He says, a question for later, how serious do you think the trade interested in B-Rob is, and what is the best realistic scenario from it? Do you think he gets released or traded in the end? We will come directly back to that because the next point on the news was Brian Robinson is being shopped and he has interest. So currently Brian Robinson has no locker. That has been confirmed by various sources that his locker is already cleared out. There is no nameplate above his locker. Apparently, from what I have heard insiders talk about and beat reporters, there was an incident at the Pats game. We don't know what the incident involves or how it was, whether it's a verbal or what. But since then, obviously, Brian Robinson's been excluded from all practice and he didn't play against the Bengals. And they've decided quite swiftly, we're moving on from Brian Robinson. Now, I've heard various rumours, James, and others who are in the chat, and thank you for everybody who is here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all that good stuff. We appreciate you doing that. I've had various rumours today. I mean, the wildest one I've heard so far is that Terry McLaurin and B-Rob are both going to Miami, and we're sending a third, and in return, we're getting Jalen Waddle, Terry and B-Rob and a fifth, and we're getting, we're getting Waddle and a sixth back.
Well, that's fucking stupid.
That would be stupid.
Would you do it though for Jalen Waddle?
I'd have to look and see when he gets paid next.
Look, I like Waddle
at 26 years old.
I absolutely do. Absolutely. I think he is right around, like a little bit below Terry as far as But we would need more. We would need more in return.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was a first-round pick, Waddle, wasn't he?
Yes, yeah, he was.
So. I mean, I like Jalen Waddle. I don't think that we would send 2 former starters and a fifth just to get him back and a sixth. I think that's just throwing B-Rob in for nothing. I've heard that the Chiefs have interest, which would make sense. The Bears apparently have interest.
That too. Yeah.
Which so what does that? I mean, I know DeAndre Swift is the running back up there, and I kind of like him, but Roschon Johnson last year was swiping touchdowns from him. So I'm wondering if that means that they're looking for a goal line back. I've heard New England might have interest, but
A-Chain is hurt, and also and Jalen Wright from
he's hurt.
He's hurt too, and that sucks. I don't know what happened. It could be something small, but he was limping off the field today. But I have him on my one of my dynasty teams. He was supposed to tick up this year, but Miami's a good spot. I think. Yeah. I mean, Robinson would be a different type of back than A-Chain, A-Chain's, small,
I would
quick,
say A-Chain typically evades tacklers.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Doesn't run up a lineman's backside.
Just run into masses.
But come on, Miami, give us a 7th-round pick. Let's get this done. Let's get this over with.
I think honestly,
I heard that incident.
That's where it's going.
No, make it a 5th.
That incident in New England, he was trying to play footsies with Drake May, and it didn't go over too well.
Oh, really? He was trying to work himself a little deal over there, huh?
He was just,
or were they trying? Maybe he was looking for a date. I don't know.
Playing a little tickle.
I have heard that the Texans are interested as well. So, but I did hear that GMs were talking to the Commanders and asking what has gone wrong. Why are you suddenly asking for a for a starting caliber running back to go? Is he as good as what he says? Is he as good as what we've expected? I have Rod who came in, and Rod, who's always on our show, said, I just wanted to say that I've always preferred C-Rod to B-Rob, and that as a short yardage running back, it's clear that B-Rob's drop-off in the production in the latest and lack of versatility has contributed in other areas of the scheme, as well as C-Rod improving, as well as C-Rod's improvement and the arrival of Bill and Debo, who all contribute to the run game. You've also got to include Eckler and J-Mac in that as well, so he's not surprised by the Brian Robinson decision.
I don't understand. I mean, we're not in training camp every single day. We don't see it. But I don't see how anybody can see Chris Rodriguez and saying that that he's gotten better. I don't. We haven't seen enough of it, And to me, I haven't been impressed at all.
I don't know why not.
Since the day he got here.
I mean,
like we said the other day, Scouse could have ran through that fucking hole.
Hole, yeah.
He hasn't done anything special to warrant a starting roster spot at all.
Starter is a I don't like the word. We are definitely a running back by committee, I think.
Correct, John. Yeah,
it's going to be. I think the question is, do we keep 3 or 4?
And Bill hasn't either.
Bill hasn't either. No, but he must be flashing enough in camp to be able to say, okay, we're going to give this guy a try. But I like Rodriguez. I've always liked Rodriguez because Robinson's a plodder. He gets the ball behind the line of scrimmage, and then he kind of plods and picks. He doesn't dance. But it takes him a while to find where he wants to go. C-Rod hits that thing hard. He hits it fast. And when those holes open up, he's through it. And he lays the lick when he gets through there. He's laying that impact more often than not. And that's the thing about him that I've been impressed with. I've always wondered, because he gets in the game late most of the time, and he hits these nice 5-6 yard runs. Every time he touches the ball, he's getting 4 to 6 yard run clip and banging some heads. And I wonder if
fresh legs will do you.
Well, that's right. And it's always been a very good balance for him to be able to come in and be able to benefit from that. Starter, to me, I'm old school. Starter says you're getting 20 to 25 carries a game. Nowadays, I think especially with our team, starter just means you're in on the first play, because I think we're going to rotate them often and a lot. And
what I don't want to see happen, what I really don't want to see happen, and what I'm afraid is going to happen, is Eckler is going to be your main back, and I just don't think he can handle that work. I don't think he can handle that workload. I'm just nervous with the young backs, mainly for pass protection. That's
right.
Yeah. Right. I mean, B-Rob wasn't a great pass protector, but he was good. He wasn't bad. Yeah.
What do you think of that then? 4.1 for B-Rob, 4.9 for C-Rod on yards per carry.
C-Rod had like 3.7. I don't know where you're getting a 4.9 from.
I mean, it's weird because
I looked up the stats the other day.
I like C-Rod. I do like him. I think he's great on snaps. Obviously, he'd probably be fresher than Brian Robinson as well. During if he is your as per your starting running back B-Rob. The other thing you got to remember as well is C-Rod can sometimes, I think we've seen him drop the ball, bumble a bit as well, and that's not filling me full of confidence. I mean, do you see a trade happening
for a running back? No.
Yeah.
Trading away Brian.
We don't have the assets. we're trading B Rob. I think the main reason is to get an asset. Just because we don't have it.
Cut. Try to get some value for him.
I don't see us getting any, giving away any more assets.
And what you have to hope for here is that somebody is enamored enough with Brian Robinson to say, okay, I want to get him before he hits the waiver wire, because they know he's coming off.
Yeah.
So if somebody like Houston looked at Joe Mixon's broke up ass.
That's what I'm saying.
And looks at Bradley Chubb, or was it not Bradley Chubb? Nick Chubb, who's still trying to finish his first 40-yard dash over there, I think. I think they started it last month. He's still at like 22 yards and going. So somebody like them, if they want to say, okay, we don't want him to hit the waiver pile, that would be helpful. That would be good. I think that's our only hope to get anything for him.
I mean, I'm looking at it here. I mean, we'll do a quick round the table then. I think B Rob is gone. I don't think he's ever going to play for this team ever again. I mean, is that
he
has no locker? Yeah. Are we all in agreement that is the case?
Yeah.
I think his car will not be allowed in the lot after Saturday.
He's going to be that meme of the Jets guy. I'm supposed to cut me. Right. He's trying to get in. He's swiping.
I agree, and I also think there's going to be some regret by end of season.
So you think it's a bad move, do you, Jesse?
I can't tell you if it's a bad move. It's just a move that I wouldn't make right now. I want to see some more development from the younger guys before you make that move. I'm not a coach. I'm not a coach or a GM, so.
Running back is one of those positions, though, where they don't really need to grow into it. You've got the talent and the vision and the ability. You can play right out of the chute as a rookie. I mean, and we've seen it. Bucky Irving had himself a nice season last year. I think we're going to see it out of Latravian Henderson. Is that what his name is?
Travion
Henderson. Yeah, I gave him one extra L there. Travion Henderson, I think, is going to have a dynamite year up in New England. But so I think that if we do go with Bill as a let's say we run the ball 40 times a game this year, just pretend, and we give him the ball 20 of those carries, I wouldn't be too bad with it. And I'm not feeling too bad with it, other than, like you said, Jesse, we have not seen any pass protection. The one
that's my main concern right there is pass protection.
Right. It's going to have to be learned on the job. So, I have faith in that. I think we have good running backs coaches. I think we have good coaches that'll be able to step them in there. And if worse comes to worse and we have to be very predictable when people come and say, hey, look, Jerry McNichols is in the game, we're throwing the ball. Nichols can protect, man. That dude he lays the hammer.
He does.
He can, but again, that gives you some, predictability right there too. You're absolutely right about that.
He can catch out of the backfield, and he's a good runner. But he is a good runner. If I'm defending, I'm just looking at Jaden Daniels, and whatever else they put in there is not going to bother me.
And that's the other thing that you just touched on there, John. Is we saw it against the Bengals, which is a good segue. We'll get into that in a minute. Deebo Samuel, first play is an end around, off you go. He's going to get more carries out the backfield as well. Jaden Daniels, obviously mobile quarterback as well. We've got that to contend with. And then if you're going with this committee of four, which I do think they do, I think the writing's been on the wall for a while, especially when after the first preseason game, Bill's got a shoulder injury. They're putting him on a non-contact jersey. They're wrapping him up in bubble wrap. You kind of knew the writing was on the wall, initially. Mm-hmm. And we don't know what was said at this New England game. We don't know what was said, what happened, what the incident was. But to have it that the following day your locker's gone, it's like...
Yeah, I mean, he pulled a Christian Wilkins and started tickling people, and,
Maybe.
There's cameras everywhere nowadays, Brian. You can't do that in the alley like you used to.
So James says here, so B-Rob will be traded or released. I think this team were going to get rid of him anyway. So what are you suggesting? Traded or released, Jesse?
I still traded. We'll get a seventh. We'll get some kind of pick swap or seventh or something like that. I think there's enough teams, enough smoke where something happens by this weekend.
Yeah, I think so too, John.
Like I said, if the only hope we have is that somebody looks at some of these other teams that have been mentioned as possible suitors and thinks, I don't want to have to deal with that on the waiver wire, and I'm going to step up and take him off and offer us something.
Yeah.
At which point, I would hope that we could start some sort of low-level bidding war and somebody will give us a sixth. Wouldn't that be nice?
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Yeah,
I don't think that will happen, but that would be
Take
great.
a sixth and a heartbeat. Yeah.
Yeah, let's
I'd take a seventh, man. I'd take the fucking what do they call the last pick in the whole entire draft? Fuck it,
Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant. Yeah.
We should start calling it the Purdy since he actually did something with his
We'll
career.
give you a Brian Robinson and a seventh for a fifth. Yeah, I'll take that.
No.
Okay. Either way, he's not coming back. He's already.
No, I think he's done. He is done. Right, we'll just quickly talk about the review of the Bengals game. Obviously, lost 31-17. Not important at all for me. I was miserable the other day on your show. I said
you were
nothing
very
went right.
miserable.
I was very down, Debbie Downer.
You were.
I have gone back and watched it yet again, and actually I'm very impressed with a few people. And I was like, you know what? Actually, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Especially for the first quarter and a little bit, I would say.
The important part of the game was good, I thought.
Yeah.
Our draft picks
So
played
what-
well.
So what do you? Come to you first, John. So what do you think went well? I mean, did anyone really stand out for you in this game?
Yes. I mean, honestly, how can you not see those lanes open up in the Bengals defensive line? They opened up highways through there. Rodriguez hit one for long. We had Bill hit one for long. Wiley is out pulling and making great blocks and springing people.
Wiley's had a great camp, man.
He has actually. He really has.
Wiley's been really good.
He has. I think we're going to love the fact that Wiley's here. And they don't.
And for all those who know it's Scouse's favourite player, who listens to the show regularly and also listen to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, they know that he is Wiley's biggest fan. He actually did praise him. I've got to say, he did say he's had a fantastic game. So
he
I was
had a
like,
great
whoa. No wonder he's ill today. You know, it's just, is he feeling all right? We need to go check on him.
Josh Connerly had a great game. I think we can see his mobility. He was able to get out in space and make blocks. And I also liked what we saw out of Chris Paul because my question, everybody's question is, can he get mobile? And he was getting downfield and hitting the second level. That's great to see.
Agreed, Scott. It confirms that the original broadcasting of the international broadcast was poor. Yeah, yeah, maybe.
John mentioned Connerly, and I heard an interview from him the other day, and he was talking about earlier on in camp how he's just trying to thinking too much, and he started going back to just playing football and having fun with it, and since he's been doing that, he's started to develop and just trying to play his game, and he's gotten a lot better. I mean, I wrote multiple articles during training camp. He looked rough. It was rough going, and we all knew this was going to be a process for him, but things are looking up, and it's good to see. I think we're going to have not only a good starting offensive line, but we're going to have good depth as well. In case one or two goes down, we're still going to be in good shape.
And we're still fighting it too. George Fant brings in a lot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Even this centre who we brought in's got starts behind his back, John. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to say they're bringing in depth constantly, and that's a good thing to see. We're not looking and scratching like we have done a few years ago and gone, who's this guy we just signed who's off the couch?
Right.
It's one of them. So the O-line, I agree with you, is very good. Anyone else stand out for you on offense, John?
I liked what I saw out of Jalen Lane. I thought he made some nice catches in traffic. Obviously, John Bates. I'll take my lumps on that again. Jesse just loves it when I give it up for John Bates because he remembers way back in a long time ago when I said I didn't really like him all that much.
It wasn't that long ago.
At least a year ago. I would say those are the guys that stood out for me the most. Bill hitting the big run was nice. Not so much afterwards. They kind of bottled him up a little bit. But then again, they're shuttling linemen in and out. So, those were the things that stood out for me. There were some guys on defense that I really liked as well, but we'll get to that in a minute, I'm sure.
Yeah, Jesse, we'll get to you then. Anyone else on offense stand out for you?
I mean, not really. I'm going back. I listen to a lot while I'm at work. On the job sites, and we know we haven't seen a whole lot of action in the games from Luke McCaffrey. But again, I keep hearing his name keeps getting brought up. And in practice, but like David Harrison, who's locked on Commanders reporter, stated today that Luke's good when Jaden's in under center. That's where you're seeing Luke shine. And if we're going back and thinking about what we've seen on the field in these two preseason games, the only real good that we've seen is when Jaden's been on the field. But unfortunately, Jaden didn't throw any passes. So, I hope everybody gives Luke a little bit more time. A lot of people are on his ass right now, and I just hope people just chill out on it. But John Bates, great fucking game. The line, on at least the offensive side, was really good. And obviously, Jaden's still Jaden.
I got to comment on Luke McCaffrey, if I could.
Go ahead.
No.
Look, I don't know what the reasoning is why they don't throw him the ball, but something's telling those quarterbacks to not do it, okay? Because I keep seeing people show film. Look how open he is. All right, so across the board, nobody gives him the ball. It's hard for me right now to try to decide. I think he makes the team because the rest of our wide receivers beyond Terry, Debo, and a couple others are just crap. But I don't know what we're giving him a spot based on because they aren't giving him the ball. It's hard to see.
I think based on what because if you go back and look at our coordinator
Cliff.
But he raves about him all the fucking time.
Great.
He raves about him.
Great.
And
so
everybody, and from what people say at camp, that he's making plays in camp.
Super. They don't look at him in the game. I don't understand what it is. He turns into Claude Rains once the game starts. And if you got that, you're my kind of person. Claude Rains was the invisible man. So that's where he goes. He disappears. And, I do see the film. He is open. And I just don't know why the quarterbacks don't throw it to him. And I'll tell you this. I know Sam Hartman listens to this show. You can throw it to him. It beats throwing it to the Bengals.
That's what I was going to get. That's what I was going to get on now. I was going to get on to that and say, okay, we'll move on to defense. What went well, just quickly. For me, I looked at this defensive line. I thought Dietrich Wise had a really good game. I thought he was fantastic. That horse collar tackle was just ridiculous.
It was a horse collar.
But by the rule, you're right.
Kinlaw was good.
Kinlaw looks very good.
Yeah.
Kinlaw's
the big thing from the defense for me, there were some good plays, but the energy level. These guys were flying around. They were. It was good. It was a lot better than it was. Versus New England. But yeah, I think the defensive line. I think they've gotten a rotation. They're a lot bigger. They're noticeably bigger than they were last year, and I think Adams did a good job this season with Wise, with Kinlaw, and even Jacob Martin. He stood out a little bit as well too.
He stood out in both games. Very complimentary player there. I liked what I saw really a whole lot out of Quan Martin. I mean, that guy, he's bringing it. It's the game slowed down for him, and it's obvious, and I like it.
Yeah, now I did listen to DQ's presser as well today, and he said, someone brought the question up and said that was the first hit that he's really took since he's had shoulder surgery on both shoulders in the off season. Which, playing with broken shoulders in the NFC Championship game, that's bravery. And DQ said, look, did you think that he was never going to hesitate? Of course he was straight in there, because that's the sort of guy he is. And DQ was saying he's slowly but surely becoming a leader on this team. And I can see that. Yep. And there's another player that we're going to have to pay next year. But anyway, outside of that, he's nailed on one of the first players on that team sheet that will be a starter. I thought Kay Madrano had a good game when I watched it back. Calling plays as well. You know what I mean? Out there,
he's quick.
At middle linebacker, he is quick. But the only thing he needs to do is just work on that tackling a little bit more, and he'll learn that. He will learn that over time, especially when you've got Frankie Livu, you've got the likes of Quan who can tackle well. You've got Bobby Wagner to learn.
Bobby Wagner
can tackle well. Yeah, I thought Medrano, his game speed is very good. He flows really well. He doesn't spend a whole lot of time diagnosing, and he's on it. You see him when he's playing, like if it's a lateral run and he's got to diagnose and get over there and plug a gap, he sheds blocks very easily. And amazingly enough, very powerfully. He did a snap move against one of the Patriots guards and shoved this dude to the ground and kept running, barely broke stride. That's the kind of stuff you like to see, man. Out of a 5th round pick right there.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Whatever he was.
He was 6th, but anyway.
What about that guy? That line was Cahill.
Cahill, yeah.
Cahill.
Yeah. Where the hell did he come from?
He's an unsigned free or undrafted free agent, man. He had him.
Is he, or is it? Did he come in from that? Did he come in from that list of players? Because I've never heard of the guy before until Monday night.
Yeah, he was with Medrano at UCLA, wasn't he? They were both playing together. So, again, the good thing here is your linebackers coach, Ken Norton, he knows how they play. So that's a good thing. So he will know exactly what position to set them in. And as long as Joe Witt knows that, then you're off to a winner, aren't you? Especially if you're comfortable in that position, you're comfortable with the same person. It's like coming into a show. When I come into a show, and it's different, but we don't do this for a living. But when I come on your show, I'm comfortable. I know what we're going to talk about. I know how it's going to go. Everything's put at ease. It's great. It works. Mm-hmm. And then if I'm going on, then I'm not going to be comfortable doing that, am I?
Well, we're the only ones that'll take time to find out your background in the circus and show it to everybody. That puts you. Oh, Scott is.
Oh no!
There he is.
Oh, there he is.
My internet's dying, so apologies for that, but it's all good. Anyway, we'll move on to that. We'll move on from that. What did we think was poor in the game overall? John, I'll start with
quarterbacks.
Yeah, quarterbacks.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was good. You can't go anywhere other than quarterbacks. Hartman was just bad again. I mean, he kind of picked it up a little bit, but he can't. He's not going to make this team, and I don't think that anybody's really going to be interested in him.
Without Mariota playing, I think it's really hard to judge what we have in the receiver room. We can dog on them all we want, but look who's throwing them the ball. I mean, these guys. They're not good.
That's true. And I mean, I like the Josh Johnson interception at the sideline inside the 5. When I look at that, I asked you guys the other day if it looked like it might have been a little bit of interference, because Lane didn't get a path to the ball. That guy that basically held him up. But I wonder if Lane ran the right route, or if Johnson threw the right route. You know what I'm saying? If Johnson read him properly, instead of letting him break to the inside, he threw it to the outside. Josh Johnson, it's hard for me. He's going to be our 3rd quarterback. I mean, the dude's been around the league twice, I think.
I'll ask you. We've got a question on that, but anyway, we'll come back to that in a minute. So one of the questions from Tim Towner he put in is: will we keep 2 QBs on the final 53 next Tuesday, and will we add one of the cast-off QBs from Cleveland to the practice squad?
If they cut Shedeur Sanders,
they've already said they're keeping four quarterbacks on roster.
They should, they're going to have to. I think both of those rookies they have looked pretty good so far.
But there will be QBs out there though that we can pick up. I mean, I just don't think either of these are any good whatsoever.
They're not. But I think
are either.
I think all 4 of the quarterbacks make the team, not on the 53, but in practice. I think both Josh Johnson, he might make the final 53, but I don't see them getting rid of Hartman in large part due to the relationship that he has with Jaden Daniels. And what harm is it going to have for him to be on the practice squad? None, really.
None. I mean, unless you've got some place where you've got a guy that you really need that spot for, but it won't hurt anybody.
That's true.
Because you can damn sure bet that nobody's going to be picking him off of it unless he throws the ball, and then everybody will be picking it off.
That's true. I mean, I think the bigger question is do they keep 2 or 3 on the final roster?
I think they keep 2. Let me have a question. I have a question.
Go on,
Do you
John.
want to see at least something out of Mariota this weekend?
No.
Are we just going to be willing to go into the season with him not having shown anything?
I kind of do. We haven't really seen a whole lot of Mariota at all this season. Okay, I'm talking about even in camp, he hasn't played much at all. So yeah, I kind of want to see him. I want to see him for at least 2 drives.
Yeah, he might be called on right away. You never know. You got to be ready.
There you go, John. Your question was a perfect segue, and you can come on again. Absolutely. Ravens preview. That's what we're going to get into. So it's kind of. And my first question was, what do you want to see? So you've almost answered that to a T. Is it all about just making sure that we've got a 53-man roster here, and people who are fighting for a job get the opportunity to fight for a job? Is that all we're willing to wait for
on Saturday?
Yeah.
I think all of Saturday for me is finding if there is 1 or 2 guys that are going to squeak in under the wire, find themselves a shot, maybe a couple of bubble guys fighting, see who's going to get off and get on. I do want to see something out of Marcus Mariota, not necessarily to see if he's sharp, but you're not going to be sharp if you don't get out there and at least get a little bit of work in before training camp is over. The best thing about a backup quarterback is their ability to come in the middle of the worst situation and play. And are we confident in that right now? Because he hasn't
seen it. We've seen it before, and it worked.
But sure, but
we've also seen him in preseason too. Get ready.
True.
He had a whole camp, a whole off season to get ready, and he just hasn't been on the field at all.
He's got a calf strain. That's all it is. And I've heard DQ say if it was tomorrow and we were in the game and he had to play, he would play.
Well, but how?
I like
to play too, but I'm not going to do it very well.
Yeah.
The thing about
the calf strain.
this game on Saturday, I mean, it's going to be a poor watch. It's just warning, but there's not too many roster spots up for grabs. You might have an offensive line, like your 9th offensive line. You might have a safety spot, and I think the biggest thing is your receiver. In a roster receiver. I think everything else is pretty much stapled up. There might be 3 spots up for grab, and that's a good thing. Yeah. That is actually a really good thing.
Oh, yeah.
I think you're right, Jesse. I think they've gone from look. If the coaching staff don't know who they're picking now this late into the training camp, there's an issue. Apparently, they had a big press meeting, performance meeting today with Adam Peters and the team to talk through each positional coach got to go in and pound the table for who they want. But because obviously Adam Peters and the rest of the team like Dan Quinn and that, they aren't necessarily seeing them one-on-one in meeting rooms, not seeing what's going on the field all the time, because you can't be all over absolutely everything. It's impossible to do that. I agree with you both. I think there's probably 3, maybe 4 spots up for grabs at the very, very most. I look at certain parts of it and think, well, how did we do the machinations last time? What was it like last time when we did the 53? Now, we kept 6 wide receivers last time. I think it's probably very similar again. I mean, would you keep 5 if it means cutting one of the defensive linemen where we're quite deep, or one of the offensive linemen where we're quite deep? Do you have to have 6?
I would prefer to keep the offensive line and defensive line deep because you need them, and defensive line rotates.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So would you? So what I'm saying with that is, would you keep 5 receivers rather?
With the Noah Brown, I think Noah Brown's propensity for getting injured, and also Debo.
Yeah. Let's. That's right. He's had his problems in the past as well.
I think you got to keep 6 here. I think you do have to keep 6.
Yeah, and I think the practice squad will be filled up with more than a few of them.
So there you go. Another perfect segue again. 53-man roster predictions. Commander Viscount got into us with a question. Thank you for your question. He said, any predictions or surprise cuts to the roster next week? So we'll go around the room and think I don't want you to name everyone on the 53 because we'll be here all night. Is there anyone that you think is an absolute like surprise cut, or any of these undrafted free agents might make it? Is there anyone that you think, oh yeah, he's had a really good camp? Jesse, you were at camp, so you can probably tell us a little bit more than me and John may know on that. But what are your thoughts, John, initially? Anyone that you're thinking of?
I think when we're talking about these wide receivers, then that opens the door up for Ja'Cory Brooks to be able to sneak in under the wire. And I think, Jesse, you said it the other day, every team's got a Ja'Cory Brooks. Well, that's fine, but ours is pretty doggone good, I think. And if he can surprise and get in there, that I think is a good thing. One other thing that I want to see Saturday, Jordan McGee, just show your face so I know who you are. I have no idea who this dude is. I wouldn't know what number he was. If he ran over me on the street and handed me his ID to give me his insurance information, I would say, Jordan, what? I don't know who he is. I want to see him suit up and maybe actually get dirty.
Yeah. I would like to see some grass stains on the back of McGee's jersey. I think John kind of took my surprise, but I'll go with another surprise, and this is going to be about numbers. I think this team likes Carlin Vigors. He might make it as a sixth cornerback.
6 corners.
He played okay against the Bengals. He didn't play so well against New England.
No, he didn't. I do think that that was his very first action, because they were a lot of people's been talking about him in camp. John Cobb included. He's had a good camp. He could have been just nerves that first game, but he did play better against the Bengals. And we're talking about surprises here, so he could make it. And I think it would surprise people.
Any surprise cuts from either of you?
Oh, this Kaz Allen. If they cut that guy, I will be shocked, because I don't
know
why he's on the football team.
But they love him. They absolutely love him, and I don't know why either.
He's gotten so many chances, man. Yeah, I'm over the Kaz experiment too. I mean, bring him back. He'll come back on the practice squad, but
for what? Because is he good at getting coffee or something? Because I haven't seen anything else from this dude.
Now you said a really strange, a really interesting cut, John, the other day, and I thought, oh yeah, I do think of that. Now this is a guy who was out in the fourth quarter of that game playing at defensive end. Cleveland
Farrell, yeah. I have not seen anything to warrant him staying on the roster.
Would that really surprise us now, though? Especially with all the additions.
No, probably not. But it is a surprise cut in the fact that he started games last year and he's a former first-round pick.
Yeah,
and then we re-signed him. Yeah,
but he looks like a drunk running around out there, like a bear in a china shop that's had too much blackberry wine. He's just completely lost, throwing his paws on all over the place, and he's huge. So yeah, Cleveland Farrell. If he makes the team, it's because they like him, but I don't see anything special there at all.
So another quick question on this then. We've obviously done surprises and stuff to the 53. Obviously, it's always called the initial 53 when we get there. Do we see off the waiver wire anyone coming into this team? Where would you go to? I'll go to you, Jesse, first. Where are you looking at strengthening?
Unless we see like a decent receiver, and then
that's where I would go.
That might be the only move that I could see that would help. Other than that, like I said, it's slim pickings. I think these roster spots are tied up. I think they did a good job this offseason in building depth on both the offensive and defensive lines. And I think our cornerback room is pretty set. I mean, if your fourth or fifth cornerback is Noah Igbenogany, then you've done something.
All right. Yeah. Especially considering it was such a position of weakness to go to what I consider a position of strength in just really over a year. I forgot what we were asking about there. Surprise.
We were asking about waiver wire. Would you pick anyone up, John? And what position would you look at? You
got to look at wide receiver. All right. You have to look at wide receiver. Even if Terry comes in, you still have to look at wide receiver, because that honest to God, once you get past Terry and Debo, Jalen Lane's a rookie. We have a lot of hope, but he's a rookie, so he looks the part so far. Noah Brown, I know people have faith in him. For what? To be a schmuck receiver.
I like Noah Brown when he's on the field. My only issue with Noah Brown is when he's hurt,
which is a lot. And I just don't see where he is anybody. How do I look at it? If somebody comes to me and says, "Oh, wait till Noah Brown comes back," my eyes go, "Oh, Jesus Christ, are you kidding me?" We just don't.
I mean, you did say John Bates was a bum too, so.
Yeah, but that was a year ago.
The best blocking tight end in the NFL. He's a bum.
You were telling us Emmanuel Forbes was going to have a great season last year, so everybody's.
I was hoping.
So was
held out hope.
I was hoping that he would prove me wrong, and he did. So yeah. Anyway, that's kind of the way I look at that, because I don't remember what I was saying now that we got thrown off track again.
It's all good. All right, gents. We'll get into our fan questions. First question that we got through was from Scott G, who is still in our chat. He says, as nominations for Fan of the Year can be submitted, he said, I won't discuss the thoughts on people campaigning for it. What was Scott's greatest contribution to improving the fan experience for other fans, and how I positively impacted the community during my year as International Fan of the Year? Well, speaking of that, I have a season ticket. Obviously, we give the season ticket away every game, so that positively impacts the community to people who can't necessarily afford to go to the Commanders games or want to go. That's something we just do off the top of our bat, which is great. I, ran around Turkey, trying to when the Hail Mary went in, trying to make sure that people knew of the Commanders abroad. I was doing my best to do that. I've been recognised for wearing a Jaden Daniels jersey while doing my grocery shopping, and that was always quite good to make a positive impact in my local community over here. And I ate loads and loads of hot dogs in the red zone lot, and that's probably about it. So I think it's changed, Scott G. I think we talked about this before on X. I think the criteria has changed quite a lot. The Fan of the Year experience and how people are campaigning for this. I mean, do me a favor.
All right.
Wow.
I'll put it out there. If you have to campaign to be the Fan of the Year, you're not the fucking Fan of the Year.
Get a dog.
Exactly right.
That's what I would say. You need love. Get a dog. Dogs will love you no matter what. My campaign for Fan of the Year is get the fuck out of my house. I'm watching the game. Go away. I don't want to be anybody's Fan of the Year.
I get it. But I mean, I look at the previous winners and think, yeah, there's a lot that they do. You know what I mean? There is a lot that every single one of them do, and I won't take any slight off that. But as my wife says there, plus I shit a lot. Yeah, that's very true.
That's good. That's good. He's coming to the United States. True. That'll clear up quick.
Yeah, that'll stop. Yeah, that'll stop. Definitely. Next question from Scott. Yeah, it will not after last year's escapades. Anyway, Scott G's second question. He said, if you needed to contribute the best dish that you could make for a tailgate, what are you bringing to the party? He says you need to make a main dish,
blood pudding,
and then a side dish: black pudding and sausage rolls, jellied eels. No, I'm not bringing that. Genuinely, I would say, what would I bring? I do a pretty good buffalo wing. So I'd cook wings. I'm quite comfortable with that. They go down a storm. Mac and cheese, maybe. But I suppose that's a side dish as well. I mean, it depends how you want to play it. But that's probably about my go-to for American foods. British foods-wise, I do a good roast dinner, but you can't sit there and do a full carvery at a tailgate. That's a bit much.
Good.
Hang on a minute, mate. I'll just get you some of this hog roast off. Hog roast sandwich. There you go with stuffing. Ooh, square sausage. Great shout, Karen. That's a great shout. Lawn sausage. Now I'm hungry. What about you?
You can see him drooling right now.
Yeah.
I like for tailgates, it'd be burgers and brats. I mean, personally, I wouldn't do this. I have before, but I'm a steak man. But I ain't sharing them. Some motherfuckers are expensive nowadays. So,
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
it'd definitely be burgers and brats.
John, what about yourself?
I would bring a delicious, old-fashioned, home-style Abner
Bag of Lay's.
Abner Woo's old-fashioned, home-style frozen haggis. That's what's coming with me to the tailgate.
Some haggis.
Nice. James says, what's the tailgate in Madrid going to look like? Tapas and sangria? I hope so. That'd be very nice. But wait.
I cannot wait for sangria. Oh, man, I want a sangria so bad. Can't wait.
You know what they're going to have? They're going to have
It's not all that nice.
fried chicken.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Tim Towner has brought a question into us. He says, as a cut-down day approaches, there's opportunities to pinch good players from teams that clearly will not be in post-season. We are short of picks, but would there be a team willing and filling a need to making a trade with one of us? Wide receiver could be the position I look at. Saints spring to mind. What would you give up in this scenario for Olave? Or do any other players come to mind?
You'd have to give up either a early
Terry McLaurin
second.
plus.
No.
Yeah, plus it'd have to be plus. Olave's young and he's talented and he is a first round pick. You know, you'd have to give up at least a second, at the very least, if not more.
I wouldn't deal with the Saints right now. Olave, he's shown really well, and then he's also shown that he can disappear. But then again, it's the Saints. You don't know whether it's because they've just been bad or not. They're going to be horrible this year. I don't know that I'd send a second for him because they're the Saints. They're going to be horrible this year, and I would say start with a fourth. And then if they don't want to go for a fourth, I'm not going to do it.
Is there anyone else that you would trade for if you thought about it right now?
I mean, we just don't have the assets, you know. I mean, if we had a full
either.
slate of picks, Hendrickson. But
Oh yeah, Hendrickson or Parsons? Yeah, thanks very much.
Hendricks,
yeah, Parsons.
31. Wait, I have to trade B-Rob for Tutu Atwell out and send him out to L.A.
2-2 Atwell. Yeah, there's a good shout. Yeah, absolutely. Sky Moore went for a cheeseburger, didn't he? I think earlier to the.
Yeah.
Where did he go to? The Saints? Did he go to the Saints?
See, the thing is, if you
think
get
so,
traded to the Saints, it's because nobody likes you. It's because they don't like you so much that they said, we are going to exile you to New Orleans. You are out of here. It's what they used to do when they'd send somebody to the Commanders. You were the Redskins. You're done. You get out of here. You're going to hell.
Absolutely.
And that's New Orleans now.
Well, that just about does us. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. Thank you, Jesse and John, for being with me. Get better soon, Scouse. Thanks for stepping in at short notice, gents. I appreciate you. Thanks, everybody who's been in the chat with us. We do appreciate you being in here, putting your questions in, so thank you for that. Thanks, everyone who submitted a question. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that good stuff on YouTube. It'd be very grateful if you could do that. And we will be on the same time next week.